Okay, I don't know why this looks so weird because I tried to zoom out so you can see my whole body when I'm doing these stretches, but now it just looks like it's warped. So we're just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna do 3 stretches for hip flexor, quad area. In a previous video, if you've kind of looked through them, the ones that I posted first and earlier, that's your hip flexor as well. One of the videos where we're kneeling, and there's gonna be a similar stretch. That video just doesn't have any words with it, which helps us get into it correctly. So if you're able to follow that, awesome. If you want a little bit more verbal cueing, we're gonna try this route. So first one we're gonna do, and I probably have, if you stretch with me or work with me in any capacity, you've probably seen me do this with you or have had me do this with you on top of the bench. So we're just gonna come into almost like a runner's lunge, dropping your back knee. So whatever side you wanna start on first, you're gonna come right down. Actually, maybe I'll do more of a side view here. So find your regular lunge first, maybe even come up a little bit. You can always use whatever you have around you to assist you with stability. We don't want any of this happening. You wanna keep your hips facing completely forward. If you pretended like you had 2 headlights right here, they would be facing forward, right? We don't want the car swerving over here. So that's number 1. The second cue, you wanna make sure that this knee is in line with your ankle, so not going forward past the toes, not coming back here. So once you've found that position, and again, you can use whatever you need to assist. You can also take it like this if you wanna go on your couch, the wall, etc. The difference in this stretch from your normal hip flexor stretch, we're gonna drop the back knee to the floor if you haven't already, pressing up, so you might even have to scooch that knee in, the back knee, a little bit to support you. Really pressing into this front leg. You're probably like me right now. What we wanna do is pull up, so belly button to spine, keeping our abdominals engaged. You're going to place one hand on top of that knee. You can stay right here if this is plenty for you. The magic game changer in the stretch to get the psoas, it's a little bit deeper, is to pull the hips forward. So you want this in an anterior tilt. You can literally picture your pelvis like a bowl, right? And if there was soup or water in that bowl, you don't want to spill it, obviously. So we're not going to tilt forward and we're not going to tilt it backwards. We want it to stay nice and stable, flat. You get what I'm saying, balanced. If you want a little bit more, you can always take the same arm as whatever leg is on the floor to add a little bit of length, so reaching to the ceiling without bringing your shoulder to your ear. So you want to really keep those shoulders relaxed, just finding the length here, tilt the pelvis forward, and then lean forward, bringing your entire body. You should feel that nice deep stretch all in the hip flexor psoas area. So that's the first one. With these stretches, if you want to go a little bit more aggressive and go to maybe 80% of your range, then 30 seconds, a minute, 2 rounds is always a good idea. The best way we can approach this, especially if it's the end of the day, even the start of the day, is to hold all of these for 3 minutes minimum. And I know that sounds like a long time, but it's a slow and steady process. So the faster we try to get somewhere, this applies to kind of everything in life, then the faster it's gonna go away. So we wanna make this a nice gradual process, melting, getting deep beyond the muscles, into the fascia, into the tissue, etc. And so really breathing through, in through your nose, out through your mouth, as you hold that posture, exercise, stretch, whatever you wanna call it. So the second one that we're gonna do is coming down into a laying position here. So face down and bringing your hands, I hope you can see me, your hands right underneath your armpits here. So without having the elbows out to the side, you want to tuck them in and squeeze your shoulder blades together. Not so that we're arching and pushing, but just that natural, nice open chest and keeping the neck in line. From here, you're gonna press through the floor into the palms of your hands and even digging your fingers in a little bit so you can get that entire hand activated on the floor. this might be enough. Like, I'm feeling this right now, and listen, depending on the day, it might be enough right here. You might not even want to go further. So you can rotate one way, kind of pushing the shoulder forward, but making sure that you're rotating the other one with it, right? So you're kind of keeping alignment the best you can. You can go the other way, pressing the opposite. Excuse me, just like hiccuped or something. Skipped a breath, and then come back up. And then this is kind of the third one, but also just in addition to this, we're gonna actually go back down, and you can press up in a second if you want to. So you're gonna come all the way down to the floor, making sure right here, because a lot of times we either have a lot of external rotation or internal, and you'll realize kind of where your feet are being placed on the floor gives you a good idea. So you wanna get that entire top of the foot onto the floor, keeping your hips in line and aligned. And from here, you're gonna bend one leg. So right now I have my left leg bent, pulling my heel and my glute. And right here, if you try to reach, you can also use a strap to do this. So if you have a strap at home, a mini band, anything that you can loop around your foot and pull it in. We don't wanna pull over here. We don't wanna pull over here and come out of our alignment. And I'm gonna keep repeating that because that really is the most important, well, one of the most important things when we're stretching. We're kind of missing the point if we're coming out of alignment, right? So we want to pull this heel to the glute the best you can. Once you find that good place, it's challenging, but it's doable. And if someone were to keep you here for 3 minutes, it would be, you know, we'd kind of reach that point in the last 30 seconds where we'd be like, okay, like I want to come out now. And we'll keep going from there. If you want more from here, take your arm out or your hand out a little bit further, your right one that's supporting you. You're gonna press your elbow into the floor and then press all the way up, which you probably will have to move this hand down even more. And again, once you find that stretch, you might be tempted to open up here. Go for it for a second if it feels good for your body, but then pulling it all back down to the floor. And again, not releasing your shoulders. That's something that tends to happen a lot. You want to keep active resistance, pressure, pushing into the floor so that you keep your shoulders in line and pretty much just avoiding any injury or compression that we don't want happening. So those are your hip flexor stretches. Another great thing to do, where is my ball? So this is something that you probably hear me talk about a lot as well. This can go, if you lay down, right into that hip flexor area. Take a deep breath in through your nose and then let your body just sink onto that space and let it literally melt. That's what we're trying to do. Break up all that fascia, break up all the adhesions, get some fluid in there. You can do this with literally anything. You can do it into your pecs right here, into your shoulders, right behind. The best way to do that with the back is against the wall, under your glute, because that might be another reason that the hip flexors are getting a little tight and bound. So just getting range of motion in that hip area to make things like walking on a day-to-day basis feel more doable and like you'll have more space. All right, I will see you in the next video.